Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, I want to say first and foremost, thank you so much to all of my new subbies. You guys are making me so happy. You have no idea. I appreciate you more than you know. And if you have not already subscribed, please consider doing it. We would love to have you be part of the beautiful people family. Unless you're unattractive and you don't want to be with the beautiful people. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But it's absolutely free of charge, and we are trying to get to 1,000, guys. Let's do it. But let's talk about the pod, you guys. It was a lot going on in this pod and Patreon, so we're gonna take it a little bit at a time. I'm gonna try to go as fast as possible and just kind of wrap it all up. But we're going to start off with episode 937, Put the Kids to Sleep, where Ice is back. Yay, right? We find out that Ice did not have the cold or flu. He actually had food poisoning per him from some undercooked chicken skewers. And then we find out that Ice and Ish, I could call them that since they dress alike or whatever. They could be. But anyway, they don't know how to cook chicken. And Joe and them were making a big deal out of it, like, oh my God, you never cook chicken? A lot of men have never cooked chicken, like fried chicken. And number one, like, I cook, and fried chicken is not my favorite to make. Like, I really don't like frying chicken. And I don't even think my brother knows how to fry chicken. I don't think he has ever in his life fried a chicken. The most he can do is like tacos or taco salad. But yeah, we find out about that, and then they talk about, once again, when Ice ended up letting the police come in to get Joe. And Ice is like, yeah, I'm not going to keep letting you get that joke off. And Joe says, well, I didn't bring it up. Ish brought it up. Yeah, I don't care, but you're not going to keep laughing at it. So it seems as if Ice knows more about this story than what everybody else knows. And Joe don't want something to get out that Ice knows. I'm sorry, it just seems like that to me. Because the way he threatened him was like, if you keep laughing and getting this shit off, I'm going to tell. And Joe wrapped it up real quick. It's all good. So later on, though, I do want to just skip ahead. Ice ends up leaving, going to a Zoom court, which took hours. It was crazy. So he's gone for most of the episode, and Imani comes in. So once again, before he comes in, they're talking about the incident, and Ish kind of breaks it down where, yeah, the police were outside. Ice heard somebody. He looks out the window, and they said, come downstairs. Ice doesn't know the law. We gonna get back to that, because what the fuck? Was he 12? How do you not know anything about the law? He goes downstairs, he opens the door, and they ask, where's Joe? Is Joe there? And he says, yeah. And then Joe chimes in, yeah, well, Ice doesn't know the law, so I let him get a pass. And where are they trying to act like Ice is from? Who doesn't know that you need a search warrant unless you are invited in? So yeah, if he invites them in, then yeah, that's a problem. But again, I think it's more to the story. I could be wrong, but I think it's more to the story, because as they were talking about it the second time, Ice walks in. He's back from court, and Joe is making jokes like, yeah, it took 4 hours or whatever. He said all the Mexicans went ahead of him and people with attorneys and everything. So he's like, yeah, y'all talking about the story again. And again, Joe wraps it up. Joe says, yeah, no, we're done. And I said, it is something going on with that story. But anyway, we move. So you guys, not too much happened in this episode except Mona was late again. And when she came in quite a mood, I think, because she was not playing with them. It was like real no nonsense. She was not, like, she wasn't joking. The stuff that they were saying to her and trying to get jokes off, she wasn't laughing, and she was taking everything very personally. They had a conversation about cheating, and she was saying how she doesn't believe she had ever been cheated on. And one person, I think it was Mark, got up and she was like, Mark is a dumbass. And then Parks, was like, I think we all have to go to the bathroom. And she was so mad, y'all. She said, well, you know what? I'll stop the fuck talking, because y'all not going to do me like that. I just ain't got to say nothing. I said, oh, Mona is mad. But she, of course, finished with her story. And then later on in the pod, she was just like, Mark was like, yeah, we're all here for you. And she was like, ain't none of y'all. And then she said, let me shut up. I said, ooh, Mona is not happy with them. I don't know what happened. And she ended up leaving early. So that's the end of our Mona thing. She didn't have a lot to say. Yeah, because she was not in a great mood. And they ended up talking about the Knicks for a very long time. I think it was over an hour. But also, speaking of the Knicks, congratulations to all of the New York listeners and the Knicks fans, because you guys pulled it off, and I was really happy for Joe. And it was a good game. So yeah, I was in here screaming like crazy. But let's move past that. Mona left early and we don't know why. He said she had an emergency. I don't know. Hopefully everything is okay. But then we get to the Patreon and we have Sasha. Y'all, what the fuck? Sasha and Flip. And when I tell you, we gotta have an understanding about Sasha, you guys, because I get so sick of everybody in the goddamn comments, like all the guys, all the haters and the ladies are jealous. Nobody's jealous. Again, nobody is jealous of Sasha. We don't want her here. We don't want her here. And they don't want her there either, not for anything of substance. Like literally all they do is objectify this girl and make her look like a piece of meat, and they treat her like shit, like a piece of meat. Is so nasty. And in this episode, Flip is back, and when I tell you the first 5 to 10 minutes, Flip was so cringy. The way he was all over her, talking about her, not all over her physically, but just like, oh my God, Sasha, and we're really toxic up here, and you look like you got a tan, and you looking like, it was so nasty, and it wasn't funny. Like, it was about 10 minutes of not funny and just loudness, to the point where Joe was just like, yeah, if I was at Caroline's, which I guess is a comedy place, he was like, I would be asking for my money back. And I'm like, yeah, let this motherfucker know he's not funny. The shit is just not funny. And he was just loud. This entire episode, he was just screaming stuff. And he just kept saying very inappropriate shit to Sasha. And they were like, damn, you okay? They called him horny. I'm like, this nigga. Oop. Y'all almost got real comfortable. And I don't really say the nigga word too much, but this nigga is married. This black man is married. And I just feel so sorry for his wife. I am so sure she is only there for whatever money he has. I mean, yeah, because he's so inappropriate. It's just unreal. And then another case of inappropriateness was them talking about a couple episodes ago. They were saying how, well, it's not really inappropriate. Sasha was like staring at Ish with her mouth open. And of course he wasn't paying her no attention. I don't think Ish likes Sasha like that. I think he likes Mona. Y'all, watching the behind the scenes again. I'm sorry. She was standing in the kitchen talking to Imani, and Ish comes up and stands beside her. And he's like wiping her off and everything, and just standing there looking down at her. And I'm just like, the way he looks at her is the way Sasha would love for him to look at her. And he just doesn't. Even though in this episode, he did something and was like grabbing her hand, and she was just like letting them. She just let them do whatever. To the point where Joe even said, and you just so stupid. He's laughing. He's like, Sasha, you just so stupid. You just letting them. You just got your arm out like, oh, whatever you want to do. And I'm like, that is my point. My point is, she is a yes woman. She will let them do absolutely and say absolutely whatever. And she just smiles and takes it. And girl, you have to want more. I'm sorry. You have to demand a little bit of respect. Like, come on. But it's like, if you like it, I love it. And quite a few times in the episode, she was trying to speak, and she even kept saying, can I say something? Can I say something? And I'm like, why is it that every woman on here has to ask permission to speak, because they just talk over them? They just act like when I say ignore, it's like you are just not even in the room. If they are not saying something about the way you look or the way you're dressed or something like that, they don't hear you. And at some point, hopefully she gets it. But I am running long, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up. Imani, whatever. Imani has to stop saying adulting. Like, he has to stop saying adults. And it's like he uses it so much. I wish he would just say grown-ups, because you cannot pronounce adult. Like, it's so ridiculous. He's like adults, adults. And then when he say yeah, crazy, yeah. And I hate the fact that he doesn't even want to correct himself. He doesn't want to speak properly. His whole thing now is just, oh, that's just the way I talk. That's just the way I pronounce it. Well, it's wrong. It's just wrong. And you sound a mess. But we move. Then we have Keno. Lord, you guys, what's wrong with Keno? Keno looks a mess, you guys. He needs her back. He needs Edith back bad. And they were, talking about the breakup or whatever. And he said that they still speak and everything. And apparently they are like always off again, on again. He said he is sad without her, but he needs a break. And Mark was like, you need a break. I'm like, shit, I know she needs a break. But, yeah, he looks a mess. I don't know what it is, but it just wasn't happening for him. Like, it's like he had no color. Anyway, we move. They get to talking about sex, of course. This whole episode was just very mannish and, Sasha was saying how they were talking about different kinks or whatever and being really freaky. And Sasha was saying that the freakiest thing somebody asked her to do was spit in their mouth. And they were like, oh, that's nothing. And you've had that. You've done that. And you're lying. And she's like, no. And I think it's nasty. And I'm going to have to agree with her. I think it's disgusting. Never in life have I done that, had it done, had it asked. Like, it's disgusting. I don't understand what anybody would get out of that. So I believe her. And she said, listen, I did it. I didn't like it. I still thought it was nasty. And that was the one time I agreed with her on anything. But they talked about pegging, and yeah, Keno said most men get their ass ate. And I said, oh, they do not. They do not. Or at least with me, they do not. Sorry. I don't know what Keno is into, because he also said he has been pegged, even though he tried to act as if he didn't know what pegging meant. He said, yeah, a finger in the ass or a tongue in the ass. He's had that. And they're like, that's not pegging. And then they were like, well, yeah, maybe a finger is kind of pegging. And they asked if he liked it, if he got anything out of it. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. And, maybe I was drunk or high. And it happened more than once. So, but I think he was probably pegged for real. Allegedly. It's not alleged. I just think so. Because I feel like after they were just like, what? You were? He was like, let me pull back, because he was just giving it all up on the pot. He also said most women like to stick their fingers in men's butts and like see what they can get away with and what they can do and try to push boundaries. And I said, are you talking about men or are you talking about women? Because women do not like sticking their fingers up butts. Like, I don't know what he's talking about. Keno is just very yucky to me. I am sorry, with the whole role playing and wanting the white woman to call him a nigga, and they made a joke about hanging and stuff, and he, kind of went along with it and was saying more stuff along with, like, that shit's just not funny. And I just think he's creepy. Like, everything about him is creepy, and now even the way he looks is creepy. He just doesn't come off as a good person, but what can you do? He's Joe's friend, so maybe he's in the right section, because Corey doesn't come off as a good person either, you guys. Sorry, I don't know how people in the comments be like, oh, Corey, we love Corey. Corey is an asshole. Like, any and everything he says, his opinion is just asshole-like. And to me, he is the biggest loser of the whole pie, because it just seems as if he mooches off of Joe. Like, I don't know why they make Imani out to be the poorest one when it seems like it's Corey. Corey came to his his birthday, last year or the year before that, driving one of Joe's cars. He crashes at the pod. I'm just like, damn, does he not have his own place? Does he not have his own car? Like, what the fuck? Well, yeah, I am not about Corey. Sorry. I don't know how he caught this whole little segment of strays. But yeah, we move. I am done. I have dragged it out. Let me see. I think hopefully under 15 minutes. But you guys, that was it. That was the pod. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you be part of the Beautiful People family. Once again, it is absolutely free of charge, so why not? I mean, really, why not? All right, you guys, if you're still here, you're the real MVP. Don't forget to like the video. It does wonders for the analytics, algorithm, all of that. It helps to push the video out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.